is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Wonderful job, Patricia. Welcome to DBL. It's Wednesday. That was a weird start. We're already starting off weird.
Did you call her a dog?
No, I said wonderful job, Patricia, but it got weird, and I was like, dang it, I'm with Jeff. It's going to get there.
It's going to go like this for the next half hour, so buckle up.
Buckle up is right. I am Tori here with Jeff in navy blue. Let's take a look at Lindsay. She's joined. Oh, she looks fabulous.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
Kiri got me all fancy today. I have nowhere to go.
Oh, you do too. You're going to be on DBL, and you're already there.
You look like a beautiful butterfly.
She's about to fly away before we get to these stories.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're on fire today, by the way.
I'm killing it
on fire.
right now. So sorry. It's like I was so prepared. I did vocal exercises in the bathroom.
Maybe don't do that.
Maybe try not to do
Yeah.
that. Okay. All right, here we go. Coronavirus is blowing up with the U.S. now topping more than 3 million cases. Several states hit all-time records yesterday, with Texas recording more than 10,000 new cases. Meantime, hospitals in several states are now reaching full capacity. The death rate is still relatively low, but Dr. Anthony Fauci says that's not an excuse to treat this surge as anything other than serious. Please take a look.
It's a false narrative to take comfort in a lower rate of death. There's so many other things that are very dangerous and bad about this virus. Don't get yourself into false complacency.
Well, there is one coronavirus death that is drawing a lot of interest and controversy, and we want to go there. We want to talk about it. 17-year-old Carson Lee Davis died last month of the disease in Florida. The teen had other health issues, including cancer and a rare autoimmune disorder. The Miami-Dade medical examiner found Davis went to a large church party along with 100 other children where she didn't wear a mask. There was no social distancing enforced. After she got sick, her parents waited a week to take her to the hospital and treated her with hydroxychloroquine while at home. Now, a lot of people are blasting her parents for their actions. I just did a little research. They also decided when she eventually went to the hospital, her mom was a nurse, not to have her put on a ventilator. I don't want to parent shame. I've learned what that is. But science is real whether you believe it or not, Jeff. And it's going to happen whether or not you believe in it. Am I right?
I do, Tori, and I don't, I like to see both sides to stories, but listen, I understand parent shaming. You want to do what's best for your kid. Maybe these parents thought this was the best route. To me, I completely disagree. I don't think this is the right route. We know from the beginning that if you have an immune deficiency in your body,
you're compromised.
You're definitely compromised, whether you're young or old. They said that from day one, and I understand there's a lot of conflicting issues out there. This is not one of them, and I think everyone knows that. Listen, I know people want to get back to normal. I know that there's a child's life that we lost because of this, and listen, I got to dance around this because it's very sensitive, but I think you guys know where I stand on this. I mean, I just leave it there. We had a very interesting morning meeting. Lindsay, I'm going to let you walk on this ice for a while.
You want to take that tightrope, Liz?
Yeah.
I mean, is it negligent to you? I think that's fair to say.
Well, it's interesting because I know, like, in the beginning, before coronavirus really hit the U.S., or at least we were reporting that it hit the U.S., like, we wore face masks, and I wore them on a plane, and it was considered like a joke because everyone on the plane was like, it's ineffective, that's not the N95 face mask. And so the information has changed to now that any face mask is best, and Anthony Fauci, Dr. Fauci is saying, wear a face mask is effective in stopping the spread of this virus. So the information changes constantly, and I think that her mom probably tried to make her best decision, even if we don't agree with it. But I think the main solution to this would be some kind of national mandate. Like, if Florida had regulations where people at gatherings with more than one person would have to wear a face mask and protect themselves and stay socially distant, that would be one way that this wouldn't happen, or it would deter places like churches and other places that people really need to go and want to go from being too close to one another.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's leadership needs here. A plan needs to be here. A national mandate needs to be here. You can feel how you feel about it, but we can still mourn the loss of that girl. And please, if you can, it's, in our opinion, in my opinion, it's safer to wear a mask. Please listen to the experts. Well, here's a twist. The black man at the center of the Central Park Karen story is not cooperating with the DA. So let me take you back and tell you the story. Christian Cooper was out bird watching, remember this, in Central Park, when a white woman named Amy Cooper tried to call the cops on him. She claimed he was attacking her. Christian said he's not cooperating because Amy Cooper has already suffered enough after she lost her job and was publicly shamed. Amy Cooper is now charged with filing a false police report. Lindsay, I got to be honest, good for Chris Cooper for being so forgiving. I wouldn't be. She called and said, the black man's trying to hurt me. I mean, she wanted the police to come out there and do something. And I don't think she was okay having other people lose their jobs before, too. So what do you take on this?
Listen, to be fully, or to give full disclosure, Chris Cooper is my friend's cousin.
Got it.
So, you know, it's not that he is trying to in any way say that this is not a big deal. He's just saying that she has been punished to his furthest extent, that he cares to keep following this up. You know, he has a whole life outside of this that is not dependent on Amy Cooper and wants to really move on, and that's his main motive. But I think for me, the fact that she's weaponizing the police, you know, even though in this instance nothing happened, the police never particularly came and said anything to Mr. Cooper that affected his life in any way really dramatically. In this case, sometimes people get the cops called on them and they are harmed and even die. So because he doesn't want to follow through, I think the police have a job to follow through and make sure that Amy Cooper and people like her have a deterrent to not do things like this again.
Yeah, I think this needs to be a law that if you do this, you waste people's time, our taxpayers' money, and you absolutely put people in danger. Jeff, do you have a quick button on that?
Just not a button, but what's her, let's use this as an example, okay? I'm not picking sides in this story. I'm using this as an example to discuss things. When is enough enough? She's going to lose her job. She's shamed on social media. It's going to take her a while to get back into society, right? Everyone knows who she is now. When is enough enough, and when does it become a teaching lesson? Maybe she's never known a black person. Maybe she's terrified of black people. That's why she did that. Now she's like, what was I thinking all these years? What was my family thinking? Again, this is an example. I don't know if she thinks like that or not. I'm just saying, when do we draw the line? Could she work again? If she works for UPS, is UPS now saying you can't work for us because you had this in your past?
Look, I think
when does it stop?
I think it stops.
And again, I'm using this as an example.
Right, again, I think it stops when you, or begins when you cross a line in terms of legality, right? I love the law. The law is important here. She did something called obstruction of justice. She wasted police time, and that is against the law. And Cuomo wants to make it the Amy Cooper law to make it actually more legislative. So I think once you cross a line and you break the law, you got to have consequences.
Okay, so go to jail.
Right.
Serve 2 years in jail. Then when she comes out of jail, is she back to society? Is she okay? Is like
she served her time. She certainly is welcome to do.
But is that the truth?
Well, what if
you're a company, are you going to hire her?
Well, if I was Chris Cooper, what if something had happened in the police that comes with me?
Again, this is just an example. I'm not. You're getting way too specific. I'm just using an example.
Yeah.
When do you come back from that? When does she get a chance to redeem herself? When does she say, I've never met anybody like this in my life, and I was way out of line, and I need to spend more time with black people or people of different cultures?
This is
and
the thing.
Sorry,
this is
Lindsay.
where I want to jump in because Jeff, she ran a company, or she was very high up at a company, so she interacted with people of color, and that's why it's problematic, because if she stayed in these leadership roles, she's not only affecting life in the public parks, but also at a job, somebody who determines whether someone moves up in a company, and things like that are very detrimental on microaggressive levels that hold black people back. And so, you know, not saying that she can't get another job, but people have to look into the way that you interact with people of color, because that really stifles people in many ways.
And Lindsay, I totally agree with you. And again, I didn't want to get specific on this case because I agree 100% with what happened. I'm just using this as a generalization to when do you come back to society? We're in this call-out culture and everyone's pulling, you know, quote-unquote statues down. When personally does a person be able to get back on their feet and not look backwards?
When they've learned their lesson. Apparently she's allegedly may have done this before.
Again,
I know not
we're
her.
being very specific. I don't want to be specific. I'm saying for people in the past.
Agreed. But if you are racist in some ways and you get canceled, that's your fault.
For how long?
Until you can prove you're not racist. I don't want a bigot running a company.
I was going somewhere else. So you guys made it very specific. I was talking about myself in this case, but
I didn't pick that
So
up.
I agree. Great conversation, and Lindsay, I hope you didn't take it the wrong way. I was totally being general.
No, I didn't at all.
Yeah.
I like the conversation. I appreciate it.
Okay.
And again, we should end on how good she looks.
Like a beautiful butterfly.
Just a butterfly. Thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you, Carrie.
She's going to flutter away. We'll see you later. Coming up on DBL, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, is back, my girl. She's talking all about how COVID-19 is spread. With so much confusion out there, she's setting the record straight.
Pets are family, and we
Welcome back to DBL. We're all about facts, not fear, and providing information that really can help you and your loved ones stay safe. My favorite doctor, Dr. Pyle Coley. Hi, look at you in leopard. What is that? It's very cute. Hi, there's been a lot of talk lately about how this virus spreads. And we've been told it's mainly through droplets, right? But now a new report from more than 200 scientists say the virus is actually airborne. What does this mean, Doc? And should it change what we're doing?
Hi, Tori. I wore this especially for you. So let's talk about droplets versus airborne, because this is an important concept. So I want to start by saying this is not new science. This is just a new warning. So I don't want anyone to freak out about hearing this. But droplets are basically what happens when you sneeze or cough. Sometimes you even see them. They're large particles that are emitted from your mouth or nose that can contain virus. They tend to be very heavy, so they fall to the ground very, very quickly. And that's how they contaminate surfaces, which you can touch. On the other hand, aerosols are what happens when we're talking or laughing or even breathing. And so they're teeny tiny particles, and they can actually stay suspended in the air for much longer, up to 3 hours in the case of this virus. So the reason that this warning is now coming out is because even though droplets are still the primary mode of transmission, aerosols are thought to be a secondary mode of transmission. So we have to be careful getting close to people, even just talking to them. We have to be wearing those masks, as we've talked about. And we have to start thinking about ventilation systems, because those tiny aerosols can get into air vents and ventilation systems.
It's not a conflict of the information we had, it's just more information.
Yes.
That's good to know.
All right, Doc, this viewer wants to weigh in on another area where there's been changing information as well. Kevin writes, in the beginning we heard COVID-19 had a mortality rate of 3%, but now we are hearing the mortality rate is dropping. What's going on with this?
This is a great point to bring up, and I really want to talk about this. So what's happening is that the leadership is actually putting forth a false narrative because there's an upcoming election. So the idea that our mortality rate is going down is actually completely ludicrous. Wow. And let's talk about why that is. So the first is the fact that Johns Hopkins looked at the case fatality ratio, which means out of the 2.9 million infections that are diagnosed, we've lost 130,000 people. That's a case fatality ratio of 4.5%, actually higher than what it was at the beginning of the pandemic. The second is that this has shifted to a younger population, as we've talked about, and those people are just less likely to die. So it's nothing about how we're doing with fighting the disease or controlling the disease. It's just in a different population. The third is some people believe we're actually undercounting the deaths. The fourth is, as we're finding more cases, the percentage of people that are dying of the cases that we find is going to go down because you're affecting that ratio. And so I really want people to understand that this is really something that's being put forth as a way to show how well the pandemic is controlled. There's a tiny grain of truth to this, because we have gotten slightly better at treating the disease as physicians. A new therapy called dexamethasone, which is a steroid, has been shown to save lives. So part of this is true, but it's a tiny, tiny portion, and most of it is just propaganda put forth to make it seem like we're doing better than we are.
I would love it if our government and our doctors could get on the same page. That would be so helpful.
And not make this a political thing.
Totally, completely agree with you.
It sounds reasonable.
It does. Isn't that insane? Thank you so much, Doc. It was great seeing you. There's no panic, just prevention and precaution. Someone made fun of my shoulder Cuomo shrug, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I think that was me.
We'll be right back. It was Jeff.
DBL Marta Milans has acted in many roles, but she's celebrating her newest role in real life as an American citizen. I caught up with her earlier in today's Chatting with the Stars. Marta Milans, welcome to DBL. Very excited to have you here. Now, Marta, you recently became an American citizen. First of all, I want to say congratulations, but given the current racial climate here, how do you feel about that?
I love this country very much. I've been living here for over 17 years, and one of the reasons I became an American citizen is because the concept of the ideal of the American dream, I always believed in it. I really worked very hard for a long time, and I was granted opportunities and doors were opened to me, and eventually I was able to become a citizen. So that is, to me, what the American dream is, to be living in a country right now where this same ideal that was granted to me isn't available to everybody else just because of the color of their skin or the socioeconomic background or whatever it is. It's something that I think we have to work towards. I believe that the ideal exists here and it doesn't exist in many other countries, so I'm an eternal optimist and a believer in the true ideals of this country, and I think we will get there, and we just have to stand all together in this quest and stand with this cause all as one. So I truly believe in that.
What a terrific answer. I couldn't agree more with you on that one.
I came to find out who killed my brother. He disappeared off the face of the earth 20 years ago.
There would be no investigation.
We just got finished, me and my wife, watching White Lines. So how is the role of Kika in White Lines specifically designed for you?
Well, I was lucky enough to work with Alex Pina, the creator of White Lines, on another show that he did right after Money Heist called The Pier. And I think because of that creative relationship with Alex, when White Lines came to be and he called me to offer me the role of Kika and told me a little bit about her life, I was like, Alex, did you just Google my life, man? Because pretty much me.
Yeah, I loved it. Like I said, my wife loved it, and this is a little personal question for me. Are there anything in the works for season 2 for White Lines?
We don't know. We don't know anything yet. We're still in the dark. We're very hopeful. I mean, we were #1 in over 30 countries. So we are hopeful, but we're cautiously optimistic.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Thank you.
So tell me about the Shazam sequel now. Does Mama Rosa have powers this time around? Could you share that with us?
Mama Rosa is definitely coming around for Shazam 2, and I did talk to our producers and writers, and I said, listen, guys, I know that being the mother of 7 or 6.5 superheroes is a superpower in itself, but Milans wants a cape. Milans wants to fly, and I want my own freaking boots. So can we just do that, even if it's one dream sequence?
Let's say they give you the boots, they give you the cape. What superpower would you want to have other than just flying?
It would be the power to heal, you know, to heal your loved ones, to heal people that are sick, to heal people that you don't know. If there's one superpower, I think that beats flying and all of the other superpowers.
Great answers all across the board. Marta Milans, thank you so much for joining us. And it's always nice when you watch a show and then you get to talk to one of the actors or actress and they turn out just to be as great as you are. So thank you for being great. And congratulations on the citizenship and climbing the ladder in Hollywood. I mean, I just see you going up and up in this business.
From your mouth to God's ears. Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll be right back, everybody.
Promotional consideration.
Welcome back, everybody. I have the perfect hack to get your cold drink. I read that totally wrong. I was talking about something else and I got flustered. I'm gonna get you cold drinks in minutes. Check out this home hack presented by American Home Shield. I'm sorry, American Home Shield.
Cheers.
What's up, guys? It's been a really hot summer here in Denver. In fact, it's super hot out today, and I got an easy hack to keep your drinks cold because I hate warm drinks. And let's face it, sometimes, look at my fridge. You run out of room in the fridge with all the kids' drinks and fruits and everything like that, and you just want to keep your drinks cold outside. So I got a fun, easy hack to keep those drinks extra cold in a short period of time. All you need is a container. I got myself a little cooler here, some ice, some water. This is actually a beer mug Jordan gave me. It's a big beer mug. Some salt, and then just some warm drinks. I got a couple beers here and I got a couple waters here. So what I'm gonna do here is set a timer. I'm gonna be legit. I'm gonna pour all this in there, and then after 10 minutes, find out if these drinks are really cold, okay? So all you do, obviously, is add your ice, add your water, and then this is the magic ingredient. 2 spoonfuls of salt, so that's just like 2 palms. That's what my grandmama taught me. My grandmama. I'm Italian, I don't say grandmama. Anyways, my grandmama taught me that, and there's some kind of chemical reaction that happens with the salt and the ice water that makes your drinks even colder. So take your warm drinks, lay them in there. All right, guys, I got them all in there, as you can see. Did you see that? All right, so I close that up. What I'm gonna do here is start this timer for 10 minutes. And then when that goes off, we'll see if these babies are cold. So the moment of truth, guys. Please go inside. So the moment of truth, guys. My kid's not feeling great today, but these drinks are pretty cold, I'm not even lying. This was warm, this was warm. This feels really cold because it's a can, but it's 10 a.m., so I'm not gonna drink a beer. That's pretty cold in just 10 minutes. And you can taste the salt, actually. So rinse it off. But the next time you want your drinks cold, fast at your party, use this little hack, and your guests will be a lot happier. When it comes to your home, American Home Shield warranty helps cover many things homeowners insurance leaves out. Call American Home Shield at 1-800-919-3629 to get a free quote today.
Oh, Jeff, you're smooth as sandpaper. It was good. It was
Crabby kids and cold drinks.
It's amazing.